Hi, welcome to our Arch Collaborative video series. I am the host of this new video series. My name is Liz Griffith. I'm a provider success manager here at Class Research. And today I have with me Connor Bice, who is our director of the Arch Collaborative and master of all data.
Master of all data. That is a new job title. I like that one. I'm happy to be here. It's good to be here.
Awesome. Well, we came together today and decided that we would start this video series to answer some of the common questions that we see and hear across various sources regarding the work that we do in the Arch Collaborative. So we wanted to start today with probably one of the most generalized questions, which is, why is EHR satisfaction important today?
That is one of the questions we get most often on our intro calls when we're introducing this, when people have signed up for the collaborative, trying to convince others on the executive team or their boards to see the value of this. And the answer is pretty simple. Organizations have invested millions and billions of dollars into this EHR. And we still have people complaining that it is not built for me. It doesn't map my complex workflows. There are too many clicks. I don't feel proficient when I use it. It makes me feel like I don't know what I'm doing, even though I'm an accomplished physician. And you would think that investing all this money, people have this assumption that it should be just built right out of the box. Unfortunately, that's not the case. There's some great functionality in EHRs, but there are additional things that organizations need to do to make it work for them. And that is where we help you identify those areas that need improvement, those areas that need some optimization and additional tender love and care to make things better.
Absolutely. So in my role here at Class, and I get to work directly with some of these organizations who are participating in Arch Collaborative. One quote I would really like to share is from one of the organizations I have the pleasure to work with, which is Wellstar Health. And Dr. Rob Schreiner at Wellstar, when we asked him why EHR satisfaction is so important within Wellstar, he talked about the ability to attract and retain excellent talent, and that's something that sets you apart in the industry today. And in the feedback that we've seen with the now hundreds of organizations who have participated in this measurement, that this is a key issue. Would you say via our data that EHR satisfaction is related to the retention of staff?
I would. Obviously, there are other factors that go into this, but recently we have started asking a question on our survey of how likely are you to leave your organization within the next 2 years? It's completely anonymous, no name or clinical background or anything is shared with us. We want to protect the anonymity of the survey takers, but there is a strong relationship between that question and their EHR satisfaction and their level of burnout. So as we increase their satisfaction with the EHR, it makes them feel like the things they're doing each day aren't as tedious, right? They're using the EHR to help them practice medicine. It's not being imposed upon them to fulfill some type of regulatory requirement. So there's absolutely a positive correlation that the more satisfied you are with your EHR, the less likely you are to leave your organization.
Absolutely. Another example I have is another organization, and this was kind of in the early days of the Arch Collaborative. We did their first survey. We gave them some really great feedback about some changes that they could work on. They chose to focus on optimizing their usage of personalizations. Mm-hmm. And so they put a certain number of clinicians through this optimization training, and they actually sent us a copy of the letter that they got back from one of their participants talking about how you gave me my life back. I've been able to go to the gym again. I'm able to have dinner with friends.
Yes.
I finally feel like I have a life again. That's what we're trying to do. A follow-up to, the question of why is EHR satisfaction so important today is, given the current pandemic, is EHR satisfaction still as top of mind as it was previously?
Yeah, and it's a great question. It really is. And the truth of it is the problems that existed pre-COVID still exist today, right? So the issues of interoperability, remote patient monitoring, just EHR satisfaction in general, and the EHR being built with clinicians in mind, all of those things are still present. We actually interviewed 19 healthcare executives recently and asked them, what were the biggest problems you had to solve due to COVID? And predictably, telehealth was the most prevalent problem. Everyone selected that as one of the problems they had to have. most people were able to get to some type of solution, whether it's using Zoom or Google Hangouts or whatever it is for the short term. Not many people have figured out the process long term. But the second and third biggest issues were remote patient monitoring and interoperability, heavily relying on the EHR and the data that the EHR has to kind of assess the history of the patient, right? And so these issues are being exacerbated right now because of COVID. I talked with a CMIO in New York City who expressed in this call that without the EHR, they would not have been able to make it through the first wave of the pandemic, that they relied on it so heavily that it was one of the key things that made them get through. But then I talk with other people and they say, it has been so frustrating seeing these patients and knowing that there is more to the story, but not having access to it. And so there's a big difference and discrepancy in what people are able to do right now with their EHR. And it's still a problem, and it still needs a solution to be found.
Absolutely. So when we talk about kind of the key and the foundation of EHR satisfaction, there's really 3 key pillars. And one of those key pillars is that mastery of the EHR or training, like we talked about. Another one is going to be the shared ownership, which really gets into the governance. How nimble are you as an organization? Mm-hmm. How able are you to quickly make changes, quickly change settings and billing, and ability to access that patient data, 100% the things you're talking about. So I can see how if that was a struggle before, the pandemic would only exacerbate those problems. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I couldn't agree more. Thank you so much for all of your insights. Thank you for being with us today. This is the first of a video series that we will be filming regarding the work that we're doing with the Arch Collaborative. We would love any suggestions of hot topics that are important to you that we could touch on. We have mountains of data that we would love to share with you all. So feel free to reach out. Feel free to send us any questions, and have a great day.